Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the October 27th, 2019 new moon in Scorpio. Now, as far as the basic meaning of the new moon astrology, this could be about a time where one may begin or initiate something new. It could be new endeavor, maybe done with a lot of enterprise and initiative, could be new job. Could also be something where one is going to discard what is frivolous, what is superfluous in his or her life, whatever is inhibiting the person, holding them back, and begin to start something and make a fresh start somewhere or someplace or on something. This could be a time too where one is really, as far as their energy level, very rejuvenated, very revived. And given that this is Scorpio energy, it could really feel like a very strong rebirth of energy, an energy that hadn't really, maybe some people hadn't had in some time, and is really able to just kind of resurrect it, so to speak. Again, given that it's Scorpio energy, and people may be starting something new with a lot of the Scorpio willful energy, if you will, and very relentlessly, and staying with with their project very relentlessly, and also in doing so with a very indomitable spirit, perhaps as well, given that it's in Scorpio. Now, as far as how is it going to impact people? Well, it's going to, it could impact everyone collectively, but especially somebody that has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio or Cancer. And Scorpio, of course, because it's going to be in their sign. And Cancer, of course, because the moon does rule Cancer. And especially if this makes a conjunction to one's sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio or Cancer, it could be very intensified. Now, this could really reflect a new start for many people. It could be the start of some kind of investigation or problem solving, getting to the bottom of something. Maybe a mystery, a conundrum has gone on for some time, and maybe this is a time where many will actually embark on trying to solve it. It could be a period too where one may start to gain some kind of control or power of a situation or something in their life that requires some power. It could just be some kind of position of prominence or authority. And it could be a time too where some may start on some deep research into some matter and maybe being able to manipulate their life or what have you for the better at this time, or something that requires some kind of transformation or some situation with a credit or shared resources situation, or I should say just a shared resource, and not a, well, it may not be credit, but something with shared resources situation may start for some people. And also too, now, in some cases, this could be the start of a Scorpio profession or career, and especially if it falls in what I call one of the work/money houses, the 2nd, 6th, or 10th house. It could be somebody starts connected like with embalming or something nuclear physics, or working as a coroner, mortician, funeral director, any death profession, something with the astrology, occult, supernatural, beginning some position as a surgeon, anything that could be a Scorpio related, locksmithing. Now, the thing about this too is, of course, it's important to look at what house it falls in, as this could impact the delineation and interpretation. Now, mine is going to fall in the 6th house, so it could be in some cases being helpful for me. Maybe it could be about starting some new astrology work or employment, or just simply about gaining power and control in the daily routine. It could be some astrological service I might start. It could also be the beginning of transforming one's health or diet, as far as I go. And anyone that may have this in the 6th, that's how it may manifest as well. But obviously for different people, it may affect them differently. This could be a time to as well. I'm hoping that this is not going to be a new health related issue, such as things with the bladder, prostate, or anything Scorpio related. Now, if this does fall in one's 1st or 6th house, in the 6th house I mentioned before, this could be, in some cases, it could be a new Scorpio health related issue. It could be something, I mean, that's how I see it. I mean, I knew that the new moon seems to be mainly beneficial and auspicious, but I don't think it's necessarily going to exclude something new that may be negative at times. It could be, I think in some cases, this could be about the new, health-related issue. In some cases, it could just simply be the start of one transforming one's health, or that resurgence or revival of one's health, given that this is Scorpio. But it could be something that could be a health-related matter connected, like with the bladder, the prostate, the reproductive system, the pelvic area, the buttocks. It could be something with hemorrhoids, something with the urinary tract, or some prostate issue. Now, if let's say that this is like making even a conjunction or even an adverse aspect to your natal Jupiter, in some cases it might be a problem, enlarged prostate issue, especially if you're in a time in your life where you might be more, where there's a greater propensity for that. Now, let's say this falls in the 5th house in one's natal chart. Some cases this could be a new Scorpio, a sport someone may start, such as some kind of extreme sports, or and it could also be about doing something connected with transformation. That could be a sport such as weightlifting or bodybuilding, transforming yourself that way, or even doing something enjoyable that could be Scorpio related, such as something with astrology, the occult, supernatural, even getting like a Ouija board, or doing something with recycling or transformation, such as rebuilding a vehicle. It could also be, now at this time as well, it's important to look at the aspects this makes to points in one's chart, as this of course could impact the delineation and interpretation. Now mine is going to trine my natal north node in Pisces. Very interesting. It's going to be almost an exact trine, so this could really be very auspicious. This new moon in Scorpio can very well blend in. I mean, the new moon in Scorpio in my 6th house, as I stated before, maybe it could be some astrological employment that may begin at this time. And the fact it's going to trine my natal north node in Pisces in the 11th house could suggest that this could blend in well, or have a good blending with perhaps doing something like with the metaphysical, or doing something with self-sacrificing energy in group situations, or some kind of involvement in a metaphysical group, which could include astrology and may lead to some kind of new work in astrology, which of course new moon in the 6th house. So this could be this could be the time where this something like this could actually happen, because again, it does make a good aspect, a very close trine to my natal north node in Pisces in the 11th house of groups. So anyway, well, the next thing I want to talk about, it's also important, you could look at the electional aspects this makes as well. Of course, this could impact the delineation and interpretation of this transit. It's going to make a trine to the north node in Cancer at this time. So a lot of this could be a good blending, I think, of starting something where one revamps or transforms one's area of life. Of course, the new moon in Scorpio, and it could somehow impact one's safety and security in their future, such as their home life, for example. This could be just one example of how that could manifest and pan out. Now, another thing too, as far as Sabian symbols go, this is going to be at 4 degrees Scorpio. So a lot of this, the new beginnings in association with this new moon in Scorpio, may be connected with doing something that may require a very laborious effort, but at the same time, it might be very important to make sure one is using a lot of premeditation and judgment and being very judicious in order for this to actually pan out and be something that could be successful or prosperous or what have you. So anyway, now let's say if this falls in the 12th house in one's natal chart. Now, isolated cases, I can see this as being like an onset of a Scorpio type mental illness, or the beginning of some new Scorpio, a hidden adversary. It could be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Scorpio characteristics. But like a Scorpio mental illness, such as like something with some obsessive or compulsive disorder. I mean, Scorpio is obviously energy, could be very fixated, very obsessive on things. It could also be or some kind of narcissistic disorder, because that could be connected with power. But the thing about it is, a lot of that, of course, could be predicated and dependent on aspects as makes the points in one's chart. What I'm saying, of course, could be very isolated. If this makes, say, if it falls in one's 12th house, say it makes an adverse aspect to one's natal Mercury, or even a square to one's 3rd house cusp, it could increase that propensity for some onset of this. But it could also just simply be about the start of really obsessive or fixated behavior, perhaps in trying to work through one's limitations, or even helping those less fortunate than yourself, such as the impoverished, the oppressed, the homeless, and the hungry. Or it could even be about the start of one transforming the lives of those less fortunate than oneself, is another way that could manifest and pan out if this falls in one's 12th house in one's natal chart. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, the thing about this too is, when you have a new moon in astrology, of course, other electional transits can be intensified as well, since they're taking place at the time of the new moon. Now, let's say that the transit North Node, I'm not going to say, with me, transit, well, what I'm talking about are transits at this time to points into a point in my natal chart. Transit North Node is going to conjunct my natal Sun at this time. So at this time, this could be a very strong period where I might have to be confronting some physical issues, such as something with the stomach and the chest. I understand the ascendant is really what's, I believe, primarily connected with the physical body and physical issues, but the Sun sometimes can play a role, even if it's a little bit smaller than the ascendant, in terms of physical issues. And it could also be, when you're talking about transits involving the North Node in astrology, it could be about issues one has to confront. It could be about not just confronting those issues involving Cancerian type physical issues, since it's going to be conjunct my Sun at the time. It could also be about issues connected with my home and safety and security in general. Now, also too, I want to go back to another aspect that this is going to make. As far as this goes, it's going to the aspects that are made electionally to this can be important, as well as, of course, it could impact the delineation interpretation. It's going to make a fairly close opposition to Uranus. And at this time, what could simply be about really having some kind of stubborn, obstinate friendships that are adversarial to maybe one starting something Scorpio related. Or it could even be, let's say, the new moon in Scorpio can be a time where many may be attaining some position of some kind of power or control, such as some kind of position of authority. And it might be a time where you might have a lot of this rebellious behavior, nonconformists that are going against these people more so than usual. And I think that's how it could manifest and pan out. Or it could be that many may experience some kind of unpredictable situation in one's life, something that comes about very unanticipated or very unpredictable, some unusual circumstance that might be opposing one doing something in connection with this new moon in Scorpio. So those are some ways I believe this can manifest and pan out. But anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my thoughts on the October 27th, 2019 new moon in Scorpio. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.